Welcome to Good Morning Football. We are live in New York City. Happy Thursday. It's October 17th. A huge game tonight. AFC West, but really the AFC picture altogether with the Chiefs looking a little vulnerable. There might be some blood in the water. They have to go on the road and take on Denver, coming off 2 wins. This is our show. Peter Schrager, Kyle Brandt, Nate Burleson, myself, and the Logan Roy of haircuts, James Palmer, who is live in Denver. Nate's like, what?
Mile high and tight.
Home box office.
High and tight. James, the Broncos coming into
I'm stealing that.
This game riding a 2-game win streak. What have you seen from head coach Vic Fangio during this time?
Okay, after starting 0-4, fans here in Denver looking for maybe another coaching change. I think they should pump the brakes after the last 2 weeks. I was with the Broncos this week, and a source in the building told me Vic Fangio has been coaching his you-know-what off the last 2 weeks. Let's look at it. They were having problems against the run. Leonard Fournette goes crazy against him. He brings in Mike Purcell, who was in the AAF and spent time with Fangio with the 49ers back in the day. He is a massive human being that's now playing nose. They move Shelby Harris, who's a very good player, out to the defensive end. On the next level, they were having issues at linebacker. They bring in Alexander Johnson, made his first NFL start 2 weeks ago, gets an interception in the game ball. Last week, leads them in tackles and has 1.5 sacks. And then in the third level, they brought in cornerback Kareem Jackson in free agency to play safety here. They've had injuries in the secondary. He's had to play back some corner. Now in the last 2 weeks, they've moved him back to safety permanently, and players have told me it has been a game changer for them defensively in the middle of the field. So a lot of little moves that Vic Fangio has done maybe shouldn't be overlooked in the job he's done of late.
And JP, we know he's coming after Mahomes. You've heard it all about Patrick Mahomes. He's taken over the sport. He's the Steph Curry of football. Suddenly he's got some adversity with this ankle. What can you tell us about how he's handling it?
You know, it's interesting, Kyle. This week, he's asked, how are you handling the last couple of weeks? And he brought up, I had struggles at Texas Tech. I had adversity my rookie season when Alex Smith was the starter for the Chiefs. The reason he brought those up are he's never gone through it as a starter in the NFL. It doesn't happen when you're the MVP your first year as a starter and you go to the AFC Championship game and lose to Tom Brady. In his mind, it's changing the little things. It's converting on third down. It's not holding on to the ball so long, finding ways to stay on the field with little aspects of this offense to get back to being that big play offense that he believes that is right around the corner and they can fix. But he's also trying to do it without his left tackle, without his left guard, without Sammy Watkins. They're not going to have Chris Jones, who led this team in sacks a year ago, and they don't have Kendall Fuller, their top corner. So he's going to put it on his back. But the Broncos do know, and a lot of the league does, how talented he is. Fangio said this week, Patrick Mahomes is the John Elway of the 80s. He's the Aaron Rodgers of the last decade. And I'm stealing this quote. He said he has unbelievable athletic arrogance, and he said he meant that as a compliment. So if there's any time to do it, maybe tonight's the night for us to see if Patrick Mahomes can handle some adversity as a starter in the NFL.
Primetime seems to be adversity for the young reigning MVP.
Yeah.
He's just 2-5 under the bright lights. We'll see how that shakes out on the road here tonight. Thank you so much, James Palmer. We'll talk to you in a bit. The Chiefs going to Denver. They're taking on the Broncos. It's a Thursday night divisional battle. It's time for all things Kansas City and Denver with a little Throwdown. Throwdown Thursday. Chiefs, Broncos. Yes, they fight round one. Here we go. Both teams need to lean on their superstars to get a win. Only one of them will be able to help their team actually pull it off. So I'd like to know who needs a bigger game tonight. Is it Mahomes or is it Von Miller, who's been stepping up with Chubb out?
I'm going to go with Von Miller. It's an easy question to answer. You know, when it comes to Von Miller in big-time games, we've seen him have some moments. Kay, you just said it. What is Pat Mahomes in prime time?
2-5.
2-5. We've seen Von Miller in a Super Bowl play at a high level. So there's certain games that he gets up for, and I feel like this is going to be one of them.
I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes. I think James hit it spot on that he's never really had that adversity as a pro, and I think people are starting to doubt right now. Find it really interesting that he's going back into Denver because though he's 2-5 in primetime games, maybe his most impressive performance was last year at night in Denver on a Monday night with the entire country watching, and he said, you know, just let me take us there. They were losing and they came all the way back. If you lose to Joe Flacco and the Broncos, we've got problems. And I don't mean that to insult Joe Flacco, but I can't see Flacco being able to put the points up in scoring with Patrick Mahomes. This is a must-have. If you're the MVP of the league, even if you're just the reigning MVP of the league, you win this game tonight.
People are jumping off the bat. I'm like, how do you feel? How do you feel about Mahomes? You've championed him for 2 years. You called that he was the MVP before the season even started last year.
Yeah, and I picked him again for this year, and I'm not going anywhere yet. I'm going to stay on this corner. I think Mahomes is a special talent. I think the last 2 games, he played well, and that offense put up points. I just think they need to get back on track. Tonight is a huge game. Could be off in a couple weeks, though.
That's why the answer to this question is Mahomes. I don't think the Chiefs can win this game if Mahomes is not great. I mean that. Von Miller, Broncos had 7 sacks last week. He had a half a sack in a win. Von Miller can be contained and Denver can still win. I think if Mahomes is average, maybe if he's above average, I think the Chiefs are going to lose this game. I think he has to be great with all their faults. It's Mahomes.
There's a lot of reasons this offense isn't working. I just feel like I'm not going to get into it. Never mind.
What do you got?
Whoa, go ahead, Kay.
Back to it. All
right.
Okay. Next round 2. Both of these squads have backfields made up of 2 guys with complementary skill sets. The Chiefs have been going on with Damian Williams. LaShawn McCoy, who looks awesome, his highest yards per carry mark in a really long time since 2016. The Broncos are utilizing Phillip Lindsay and Royce Freeman. I'm asking you guys, Kyle, Mr. Running Back, which duo would you rather have tonight, Williams or McCoy and Phillip Lindsay? Or no, Williams and McCoy or Phillip Lindsay and Freeman?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Broncos guys.
Yeah.
Phillip Lindsay right now has it going on, and I look at LaShawn McCoy starting to play better. I would use Vic Fangio's phrase, and I want to see some athletic arrogance from LaShawn McCoy, because if you bring this thing up in 2014, sure, I'll take LaShawn. I will say this too. Denver is really, really good at stripping the ball and forcing turnovers. At least historically, they have Vic Fangio defenses. LaShawn McCoy does that one-handed Walter Payton run thing, which looks very cool and is a terrible idea. He had a big fumble 2 games ago. Watch for Denver to try to strip LaShawn. I'll go with the Broncos running backs.
Wow.
I think I'd be ignoring the numbers if I didn't say Freeman and Lindsay. I mean, you can run all over this Chiefs defense right now. That's no insult to the players or Steve Spagnuolo or to Andy Reid. Let's get with it here. You can't win football games if you give up 150 yards rushing every game and you can't get Mahomes back on the field. Lindsay and Freeman are good. That offensive line, to James Palmer's point, has been better. And I think the Broncos can run the ball down their throat. It's if Mahomes can answer with the points they need.
The disrespect.
Of who?
Of who, though?
Of LaShawn McCoy and what he's meant to this league. No, I get it. I would say the Denver Broncos running backs, but just off of pure nostalgia, I'm going to say my guy LaShawn McCoy. And I do feel like we've been seeing it, Kay, week by week, LaShawn McCoy getting more comfortable with this offense. You guys realize he's still learning this system. Can you imagine when he knows it like the back of his hand?
You're going to go with nostalgia? Why don't you just go with Okoye? You're going to Christian Okoye?
Andy Reid's system, which he ran for 5 years in Philly.
It's a different system with Pat Mahomes and the wide receivers. They weren't running the jet sweeps, all right, in motions like they do now, okay?
Yeah.
Don't come at me on the X's and O's, Trey.
Right, come on.
But I will say this. I feel like Damian Williams and LaShawn McCoy are going to have themselves a day, because we're all talking about this offense. We're saying, Pat Mahomes, they just can't run the ball. Don't you think they're getting sick and tired of it?
Yeah.
Don't you think Andy Reid is saying, what are y'all talking about? I know how to run the rock. I've been in this league as long as you've been alive, even longer. So I feel like LaShawn McCoy and Damian Williams are going to have a day.
I love it. Let's finish things off with a battle between 2 actors who have both been featured in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Repping Kansas City as friend of the show, Chief superfan Paul Rudd, and for Denver, it's the War Machine himself, Don Cheadle. Who knew?
Love him.
Who knew?
He's
Who's
also
the better
tweeted at the show.
Avengers actor, KC's Paul Rudd or Denver's Don Cheadle?
Well, listen. It's one thing to hear it from Buck's mouth. It's another thing to hear it from the TK421. Don Cheadle in Boogie Nights is fantastic. He's my favorite movie. He is Buck Swope, the heart of the film. I love Don Cheadle. However, if you have never seen the Paul Rudd film Wanderlust, in which he and Jennifer Aniston are a couple looking to get a spark back in their relationship,
Talk about it.
Paul Rudd has a scene to a mirror in which he attempts to talk naughty. It is the funniest bleeping thing I've ever seen in my life. I cry. I send it to all my friends every time I watch it. Based on that, you can have your Brando, your Day-Lewis, your Olivier. Based on that scene alone, give me Rudd.
Wow.
Listen,
It's incredible.
Y'all know how I feel about Paul Rudd. I got a man crush on him. I love every movie he's been in. But I'm not going to disrespect my guy Cheadle.
Talk about it.
You know what I'm saying?
Cheadle's
Listen,
nails.
there's a movie called The Rebound where he plays Earl Manigault.
Oh, the GOAT.
The GOAT, and that movie is the GOAT.
Gets the dollar chick
Off the top of the backboard. Listen, Don Cheadle is one of the greatest actors of this era. Paul Rudd is one of the greatest actors of this era. I can't really pick one. I would like to see these guys play one-on-one. That's how I'm in. Grown man game.
All right, Strikes.
Whoever wins.
Rudd has a Netflix show coming out on Friday called Living with Yourself. He plays a clone of himself.
Can't be easy to do.
I gotta think that's a hard acting endeavor.
No, Jean-Claude Van Damme did it.
He did, and it was a great movie. I'm gonna
Lohan?
Double impact.
I'm gonna go with Rudd. I loved Parent Trap as well.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with Rudd, and he's got a new show on Netflix. We're gonna throw him a promotion right there.
Okay.
And hopefully say Good Morning Football is the reason his show really takes off.
Hey, Peter, you just landed. Netflix. This is a thing. Peter, what is it? What?
Living with yourself.
Okay, got
Will Rudd.
it. That's
So
incredible.
Kansas City wins that one on the back of Wanderlust, of all things.
And that scene alone, it's Rudd. I'm telling you, you'll cry watching it. It's not appropriate for air. But, oh my God, is it funny? It's so good.
Thursday Night Football features the Chiefs and the Broncos. Don't forget to check out NFL's Instagram. It's at NFL. Their story will have the game day play-by-play presented by Oakley for all of the behind-the-scenes action on game day. You feel like you're there when you're watching those stories. So please go to @NFL, click follow, and take a look at the IG.